Welcome back to The Evil Within. This is The Evil Within 2, and we are in Chapter 4. It's been 20 fun and exciting episodes. A lot of variety in the episodes. You'll remember that we saved right after we came up from the Morrow into that little safe room inside of... Well, we're actually outside City Hall, but we're on the map part that would be City Hall. Had some fun in the shooting gallery in the last episode. Slowed our progress a little bit.
This must be City Hall. Gotta stop
It's
this
not
guy
looking at the moment, but it's at the end of, there you go. Now you can see it. It's down there at the end of the street, end of the road. Big clock tower sticking up. There's the guy that we came here looking for.
Damn.
His big camera lens, camera eye in the sky.
Shit.
A couple of huge tentacles come down.
Is that?
Notice the eye isn't open. The other thing to notice is this is chapter 5. So we spent,
Ready for this.
what, 16 episodes getting through chapter 3, and chapter 4 was 2 episodes, and it was only 2 episodes long because we took the scenic route twice. Did some hunting. The game is very unbalanced in what qualifies as a chapter. If you treat it as a speed run, it doesn't seem quite as unbalanced, but we went through the first couple of chapters very quickly, right? The chapter before you get into STEM, that's chapter 1, and then you're inside STEM for the first time and you wind up in Stefano's brain, and that's chapter 2. And then we spent a lot of time in chapter 3 doing several different side quests, completed all of these side quests that were on that part of the map, at least so far, right? At this point in the game, our opinion of what the game is going to be is the map that we were on, surrounded by small little arenas, and that as the story progresses, what's going to happen on the main map is that more of those buildings are going to open up, and from time to time you'll come up for boss fights.
Another beautiful day. Another beautiful day. I can't remember the last time it was overcast or too cold. Always feels just right. I'm truly blessed to be born and raised in Union. Never left this place. I don't want to. I plan on dying here. Smell that. Smells like spring. The flower beds they planted here are really something, aren't they?
It's interesting to me that the citizens of Union, now not the Mobius operatives, but just the citizens of Union, they're coming here primarily, I guess, now through Moose Centers. So as some sort of religious enlightenment experience, they wind up in Union. And they don't know the word Mobius at all. It doesn't trigger anything for them. But Mobius, we saw in the last episode, has this plan to use 20,000 of them. So build Union out to the size that would support 20,000. It's going to have an industrial park. It's going to have some farming and agricultural areas, as well as residential and just kind of retail areas. So it's going to be a full-blown community, 20,000 people large. They were getting close to it, said they would get there to the 20,000 in just a month or so, a couple of months. And they were going to use the 2 million exabytes of data storage and processing power that those 20,000 souls were going to provide them to control the entire planet. 8 billion people were going to be pulled into STEM via wireless signals, broadcast planet-wide. That's what we learned in the last episode. Horrifying thought, of course. The other thing that we learned in the last episode, well, that we've been learning, is that the Mobius operatives all have chips. And those chips are, I guess, implants, right, of some sort, probably in their brain, that keeps them from being susceptible to the wireless transmission. I think if you don't go in wireless, you're obviously pulled in through like a pod, so that's a physical connection. So I don't know that the chip prevents you from being that much, but the people, the Mobius operatives that have been in here have been very aware that they were inside them, that they knew what was going on, whereas the citizens did not.
Yeah, just you wait, asshole.
Photo of Sebastian Castellanos, the guy who took Lily. He must have taken this outside the warehouse. Waiting for you? So he's expecting me.
So you saw we walked around the edges. We tried to find a way around. There's no way around. You have to enter. You have to enter here. And when you do, it's the first boss fight. Now, what seems to be missing is that there isn't a restore to a autosave point there. That's not to say that Brian and Jackie got through this on the first try. We didn't. It took us 3 or 4, I think, tries. And now the lens is open. Whenever that lens opens, bad things happen. You get the idea right away. You know what we're going to fight. We're going to fight the Guardian. Remember, all the way from back in episode 2 in Stefano's mind, we ran from one. That's pretty horrific. So the reason there wasn't a cut to the autosave point there is, rather than reloading the autosave point, we were reloading the last manual save. I mean, it was just right back there in that building. So coming up, listening to that guy wax poetic about how wonderful Union is. I screwed up there. I missed where that tripwire was. I was trying to go into the tripwire, but I was turned about 90 degrees from it. These tripwires wind up being really good traps because they allow you to load and get a couple of good headshots in there. 3 headshots with the sniper rifle. Going to try to use the oil again. I thought she was right behind me. Apparently she wasn't. So you really should look and make sure that there's a rabbit in the trap before you trigger the trap. She got lost on the other side of this box truck. Over box truck, I guess. A couple of points to make here is that you can climb, you can go over that truck, and this winds up being a good escape point. Another headshot, so it makes 4 headshots with sniper rounds. And we've lit her on fire once, so 5. I don't know if that was a headshot, but it was a good body. It was high on the body. If it wasn't a headshot, it would have been, like a neck shot, so good damage probably. Light her on fire a second time. And have that barrel explode on her. The animations going through the gates are very different. For her to go through the gate, she tears it down. She makes a hole. It takes her a while to get through, so those gates, it's kind of a man trap on both sides. Our first attempts at it, we tried to take a more tactical stealth mode to it, try to lose her in the bushes. I think a couple of times we managed to lose her at least partially, but it wasn't real helpful. It was hard to do anything from in the bushes that would be effective. Now we set that trap up well, so we're on the edge and we can get off, so 2 more explosive bolts and game over.
Stay down.
We tried going both right and left. Now the achievement we earned there, that was not running this time. That's for killing her. It's specifically for killing her outside of City Hall. You will encounter guardians later in the game as well. They don't count for that. You have to kill this one outside of City Hall. And this one's more powerful than the others. There winds up being quite a bit of loot here after you've killed her, having access to the whole yard to... she was worth quite a bit of goo, and then there's quite a bit of resources laying around. I was originally convinced that that handgun ammo there, or the ammo that we just picked up, meant that there was a way to get back there. And it turns out there is. I don't find it this time. We didn't understand what we needed to do to get back there. Though that's all the resources you can find back there. So don't know how much it's worth to you. Out here in the yard, a lot of stuff dropped from boxes. One thing to note is if you don't loot this area now, there'll be a time you will get back here. The resources will still be here if you don't die. If you die between when you leave here and when you come back to here, it'll all be gone. And the boxes are even gone. So if you kill her, loot. The reason I say if you kill her, because you can actually do this without killing her. And you have to do it, if you want 100% on the game, if you want to be platinum on the game, you have to do it both ways. You have to do it without fighting her and doing any damage to her at all. And that gets you one achievement, and doing what we did, killing her out here, gets you another achievement. And the only way you can do them both is to play at least this part. Now, you could technically reload to the manual save that we did just before we came up out of the marrow, or just after we came up out of the marrow, before we came up the ladder that brought us into the courtyards, right? You could load back to that and replay it the other way and solve it. Now, what I didn't understand here is that these are red barrels. Since I'm not able to kick them over, I got confused as to whether they were really explosive, whether they were, the red barrels are explosive, right? Well, it turns out they are explosive, and if you don't do it from staying right here, but if you back up a ways, you can shoot those red barrels from, say, the front of the building, up there towards parallel to the front of the building. Shoot it from up there, and their explosions will light this van on fire. It'll explode and be moved out of the way. So that's how you get the other achievement, how you get through the game without engaging her. If you go through that route, that's the route that leads all the way around to that ammo that I said that I thought that you should be able to get to. And that's how you do it. You go through there. There's a few more traps depending on the difficulty level that you're playing on. As you go back that way, there's at least one more barrel that you can use as well. But in the very back of the city hall, there's a door. And if you can get in that door, now there's some animation time and like clicking the A button over and over and over again, and some animation to get in that door. But if you can manage to get in that door without having attacked and fought with the Guardian, then you'll get a second achievement. It really turns out it's not as hard as it might seem. That's the approach we took the next time that we are here. Well, because the next time that we're here, our second playthrough is on casual, and it's specifically to pick up the achievements that we missed, right? So we got the achievement for killing her. We need the achievement for not killing her. So we do it the other way the next time. But even when we get to playing on classic mode, we choose not to fight with her to get out as quickly as possible. So you can see, at least certainly here on survival mode, it's manageable. You can get there pretty quick. Now you notice there was this weird animation as we went through the door. That's not a auto spawn reanimation. I would have put the computer in if that had been the case.
Who's there? It's okay. Harrison, right? I'm not one of them. Who are you? Don't worry. O'Neill sent me.
I thought I was the only one left.
I'm looking for the core. Where is she? Is she here?
Second floor, the stable field emitter.
Emitter? Forget about that. I'm here to find the core.
You must turn on the emitter. It will stabilize the environment. Without it, Union will completely collapse. Then the core won't matter. Turn it on. It will affect his power.
His power? You mean?
Take this. Use it to turn on the emitter.
Harrison's communicator. Miles Harrison gave you this communicator before he died. It can apparently be used to start up the stable field emitter.
Another team member down. Wish I could have gotten more info. Don't worry, Lily. I'm still gonna find you.
Now, the interesting thing there, of course, is that that's another X on the board in our room. So if you go and look at that pegboard where we could see all the team members of the rescue team that was sent in before us, that's another X of one of those pictures. The one for Harris, obviously. And that there's something called a portable field emitter that will stabilize the environment. That if it's not turned on, then all of Union will collapse. Won't matter if we have the core at that time. It won't matter if we have Lily at that time or not. So something that has to be done. And it's on the second floor, right? And he sort of told us that Lily was on the second floor. I mean, we're saying, what about Lily? And he goes, second floor. So there's an implication. Now here's the indication that you see us playing blind, because we're thinking, am I supposed to interact with this camera in some way? Is there something I'm supposed to do with this? There isn't. It's just kind of a set piece there. I know I explain this often, but this is not a true Let's Play game, or presentation of the game. Pure Let's Play, we would be commenting live. Well, not necessarily live, but I mean, might still just be a recorded video, but the audio would be recorded at the time of the gameplay, and you would see all the path, right? So you would see us die, respawn, etc. It's a blind playthrough in that the path that you're seeing, like that wasn't the first time that we fought her outside of City Hall, but once we fought her and we're in here.
Report 00977. Urgent structural issues. Regarding status report. Expansion efforts put on hold. Retention of original map is paramount. In addition to fracturing of landmass and atmospheric control loss, daylight simulation has also been compromised. Countermeasures for systems failures have been established, but receiving reports of previously uncategorized issues. Citizens are experiencing memory rewrites. Also receiving reports of unexplained corporal dysmorphia and violent tendencies. Please advise.
Well, it only got worse from there. So the tremors and a little bit of loss of daylight and things like that, it got much worse. All right, so this looks like another safe room, another place to save, another bench to upgrade anything. Now, we found quite a bit of parts out there laying about, 225. That allows us to make another upgrade. Clip capacity of the shotgun. Want to be able to just fire it off multiple times. But we're going to save and call it a day, I think. Do we? Maybe we don't call it a day. No, that's just a save. That's a transition between play sessions. So I think we're now in play session 11. Our play sessions are, run usually around 2 hours. Unless we're playing classic mode, then sometimes runs 5. But around 2 hours, so you can figure that we've played the game at this point about 22 hours. There was another name on the door there as we were coming in, another bronze plaque. That was Jonah Constant. Or, well, the person floating in the air up there inside the time prism is Jonah Constant. He's not a member of the rescue team. He's just another Mobius operative.
That's his MO.
Has been put on display.
He's somewhere in here.
But I was explaining the difference between this playthrough and a pure Let's Play. You would be seeing every moment of our gameplay. So you would have seen the whole entire 22 hours. Instead, this is episode 20. So you've seen about 10 hours. It probably rounds up to maybe more like 11 or 12 hours of video to this point. I can tell you that when we finish the game, it will say that we had a runtime of 27 hours. So, turns out that, roughly halfway through at this point. A little less than halfway, maybe about a third of the way through at this point. But you see, the play looks very Let's Play. It's a blind play. We don't know what anything is. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is the first time we've seen these rooms. And the reason this is the first time we've seen this room is we may have done that boss fight several times and we cut out the losses there. So you didn't see the multiple paths of things that don't work. You saw only a path that did work. But in here, this is the first time we're here. We don't know what any of these cameras are supposed to be, trying to figure out if I go in the corners. Remember in the last part of the map where Liam is, we found several things that when we went to the end of the train car, for instance, then a trigger, we walked by a camera, but the trigger wasn't there. But once we got to the end of the thing, then there became a trigger that when you came back, you tripped a wire that shut the camera off. So things like that. So we don't know what to expect, and so we're looking in every corner, trying to understand: is there information here? Is there anything here that we're supposed to be seeing that we can do? Now, Harrison told us the field emitter was on the second floor, so here we come up to the second floor. A lot of black draped cloth curtains.
What's this about?
This is kind of a fun camera puzzle. It's not particularly hard. They could have made it more challenging than it was without losing anything. I don't think. Maybe they thought people wouldn't get it, and so didn't want it to be too hard. Now, we picked up right away on a few things, but not everything right away.
What's this?
So when you finally
This
get close to the
camera's so
camera,
old.
you'll realize that you can look
Must
through
mean
it.
Something.
You can even take a picture with it. And I thought it was odd that, one thing that they could have done is they could have made the focusing more interesting. It turns out there's only three spots that you could focus on. There's the top, bottom, and middle. And the top and the bottom are obviously wrong, so the middle's got to be right. But pressing the key taking the picture did nothing. It's clearly supposed to kind of look like this painting. The painting has roses in it. Hey, look, there's roses.
Roses. Though these flowers are beautiful, something seems off about them. You have a feeling that you should be extra careful with the thorns.
Extra careful of the thorns. I guess they're just waxing poetic there. It doesn't. All you do is come over and put the roses in the rose vase, and this is the first time we got close enough to them, so we realized, oh, look, we can turn her. And so obviously taking a picture of her back when the picture was of her front wasn't going to work. Trying to look at that one and this one, and nope, she's turned too far now. So nope, go back the other way. There you go. Okay. So now she's in the same pose. Try the camera again.
Nothing. What am I missing?
It's fairly obvious, but if you just look around the room, but we didn't see it. The lady in the picture was wearing a necklace, and it wasn't until right then I saw it. Oh, there it is. There's a necklace over here.
Emerald necklace. This expensive-looking necklace features a large gemstone.
If you don't happen to catch, you're most likely to catch the roses. Be hard to miss the roses, but the necklace being off to the side like that, you might miss it. And if you miss it, don't feel bad. We missed it too. Not for very long, obviously, but. So the other way these videos differ from a Let's Play, besides not seeing the entire paths, for instance, only seeing our path through the Guardian fight that worked, but most of the game being the completely lost, wandering to every corner to see what I can pick up and what I can interact with, right? So that has a very Let's Play feel to it, but a little bit of curated gameplay as we get to the boss fights and things where we wound up dying, but we didn't respawn to a manual save, so it was kind of hard to see that it looked like the first time we were there. The other thing that's different is that the voiceover is being done several weeks after this run was completed, and so I, as the voiceover artist, the Brian talking is different than Brian playing. The Brian playing didn't know what anything was, right? He's just trying to find everything he can click on it. The Brian talking knows what's going to happen in this hallway and how to progress the game without testing a bunch of doors that you can never go through. So. It's easy to miss that you can actually interact with that clock.
Ticking. The pendulum stopped.
There's nothing really about the clock. Doesn't really didn't tell me anything. Didn't seem to. Now every time we look at one of these pictures one of these pictures on the wall, that framed pictures that light up. Every time we look at one of these, you can hear the clock doing something. At the end of the hallway, it says, appreciate the art. So, basically, you need to walk Sebastian up to each one of the... you can see a whole bunch of blank frames, but the frames that don't have blackness on it, or blank white backgrounds, are the art. And once you've seen all the art that way, the painting at the end of the hallway becomes apparent. Before it was just a blank wall with the words and appreciate the art. Now when you look down there, there's a red painting. But there's also a newspaper article here, so let's read that first.
Crimson Post article. Another decapitated body found. According to KCPD, the body of a woman was found in Crimson City Park this morning. The victim has been identified as Emily Lewis, an aspiring model and actress. Her head had yet to be recovered, but examination of personal effects found at the scene led to the identification. This is the latest in a string of unsolved homicides of a similar nature. Lieutenant James Van Kirk of KCPD Homicide Division held a press conference where he confirmed our worst suspicions, that Crimson City may be the hunting ground for a serial killer. Emily's longtime friend and photographer, Stefano Valentino, appeared heartbroken at the news. It's a terrible thing that happened to my lovely model. At least I was able to capture her essence forever before it was destroyed.
Now, the key takeaways there is that Stefano's a serial killer, and he was a serial killer in the real world.
Still a cold case.
Pretty much means he's a sociopath, psychopath. Take your pick. Those two words are not quite interchangeable, but they both work well here. The painting that's there that has appeared for us, highlighted in red light, is of Lily. But somehow they let another psychopath into their stem. Like they didn't learn from Ruben in the first game. I mean, it's pretty obvious. All right, well, that's going to end our video. It's, of course, a cliffhanger here. You'll have to come back. Episode 21, you'll find out what happens when the door opens. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a good game.